Hi there, and welcome back to spreadsheetpoint.com. In this brief video, I will go over a few Excel tax tools for small businesses that can be used by pretty much anyone with a general knowledge of Excel to really help leverage Excel during tax season. You can automate calculations that help you gather total tax amount paid, total tax amounts received, and even calculate some interesting calculations with tax brackets in order to really help you prepare your audit-ready reports. These are actually, while sometimes it's a little bit advanced, they're actually quite simple to do. And if you track all of your expenses properly throughout the year, you're going to have all of your data in one spot, and it's going to be hopefully a seamless handoff to your accountant or to yourself, maybe if you're doing your taxes online yourself. I'll go over a few simple yet effective ways to track taxes and help you use Excel to prepare your data for the tax season. So you'll see on this tab, this is a simple income tracker. You have all of the dates here. You're going to have this right through the end of the year, all of your client names. The invoice amount, of course, is what you're charging them. Now, the tax rate you can simply enter here. This is a simple data table that you just set up at the beginning of the year. Maybe some clients are paying different tax amounts for whatever reason. You just simply update that there. This tax collected is really just a simple math formula here. It's the invoice amount multiplied by the tax rate, of course, and you divide it by 100 to ensure that the tax rate is actually a percentage. And then you have this tax collected right here. So if you use this simple data table all through the year, you're going to be able to keep track of the tax that you've collected for each client instead of having to go through various receipts and trying to find records of information at the end of the season. It's perhaps best to track them as you go. This way you have all of the tax collected from all of your clients at the end of the year. Now I'm going to create this simple pivot table here live for you to see. Depending on your level of familiarity with Excel, you can maybe pop in a pivot table here to further analyze your data. Insert pivot table. I'm going to have it in the existing worksheet. So let's say I want to see a nice summary of all of my clients and then the tax collected. So you see that beautifully sums up all of the taxes. Maybe a client wants to know how much tax they paid in the year, and you have this number right here available to you. Very similar table here with expenses. Of course, you're going to have your date, now the vendor you paid, the amount, tax rate, and then the tax paid. It's the exact same way, pretty much the exact same table as this. Maybe on the expenses, you want to keep track of how you paid. Maybe I want to put payment method, right? And then maybe we'll add a drop down here. Maybe we'll do data validation. Let's make a list here. Let's make a credit card. Maybe you have to keep track of which credit card you use throughout the year. Maybe one of them gets some type of tax discount. Who knows? Amex, Visa, and then of course Visa. So then you make the same type of pivot table. Insert pivot table. Pivot tables would be really the best way to capture or summarize your tax data at the end of the year. As long as you have that, if you've been tracking it all year long, it's a nice way to do that. Oops, sorry about this. So let's just do this again. Pivot table. And we're going to put the existing sheet here. So this is a table range that we're looking at. I want to put the vendor. So, and you can also at a glance see how much I paid a specific vendor in taxes, just to ensure that they're taxing you properly, of course, as well. This is a very interesting tab here. This is a tax bracket. So Excel, this is something that you can do if you're familiar with Excel formulas. This is simply a min formula. So what this is, here's the income amounts. Maybe you have a couple of different employees at your business, and they're taxed differently based on their income level. So bracket 1's 15%, maybe 2 is 20.5, and maybe 3 is 26. Now these are interchangeable. If you just click on these cells, you can see the thresholds for each amount. So let's just go over this $30,000 here. So this $30,000 is taxed $4,500 in bracket 1 because this person doesn't make more than $48,535. So this is where this formula comes into play here. You'll see this 50K. So it maxes out the bracket 1 at $48,535. So let's just do this here to see what the difference of those numbers are. So they're going to be taxed at 15% for the $48,535, and then $1,465 is taxed at the 20.5%. That's where that $300 comes in. Again, you can adjust these thresholds and percentages based on your region. This person down here is, of course, being taxed at all three brackets. So the 48,535 is at 15%. Then between 48,535 and $97,069, that's what they would be taxed at the 20.5%. So the difference between those two numbers, the last bracket is the remaining amount of money that they're charged. After anything they make over 97,069, they're going to be charged 26%. And these percentages are interchangeable, which is quite powerful if you perhaps have different tax brackets according to where you are. So this really helps perhaps with employee tracking of income, or maybe you're looking at having a couple of different income streams that you would like to analyze the data on further. These are just some ways that Excel can help you at tax time. Really, the main thing though really would be to ensure you're tracking all of your transactions all year. Be really vigilant about doing that. And then by the end of the year, when it comes to tax season, you will be able to run this type of analysis. Even if your Excel knowledge is limited, you will have the data all here, which will be able to be summarized and hopefully passed off to your accountant or to yourself if you're doing your taxes online and you have all of the sums of taxes paid and received, as well as perhaps different brackets that you might be in, all at your fingertips. I hope you found this video useful. For more advice, check out spreadsheetpoint.com and don't forget to like and subscribe.